Hey, you'll be joining an episode of My Favorite Martian.
Uncle Martin. Could I see your antennas? No, wait a minute. Now don't disappear. Uncle Martin, come on back.
That's what they bought him. On Mars, it's considered an insult to ask a Martian to let you see his antennas. It's another way of saying, get lost.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. But I just wanted to show you something. I mean, ask you something. No, wait. No, Laura. Now, that's good. Now, look. You see?
What is it you want me to see?
Well, don't you see it? You know, it's funny that I never noticed that before. But that television set, with its rabbit ears extended, looks just like you with your antennas up.
Rabbit ears?
Yeah. Well, that's what they call them. Rabbit ears.
Did it ever occur to you, Tim, that you are oftentimes in very bad taste? Now, how would you feel if you had antennas and I went around saying you had rabbit ears?
I'm trying to get personal, you know. I was just curious. Well, come on now, Uncle Martin. I think they're cute. Can you get TV?
Huh?
You know, television reception. Now, you got the antennas. Can you get the picture?
That is the most naive, unsophisticated question of all time.
Well, I'm sorry, Uncle Martin. I just thought.
Don't apologize, Tim. You didn't know. Of course I can get television and AM radio, FM programs, stereo, ship-to-shore telephones, and private police calls.
Will Jill marry John? Will John be good to Jill? Tune in tomorrow for another episode in the lives of John and Jill.
That's the most
Of course, television is a bit more complicated. I have to do it in a darkened room. I project the picture on the wall through my eyeballs. But I need a converter and a roof aerial for you to see. I'm on Martian wavelength, and I have to get unscrambled.
Well, do another radio.
All right.
Calling car 32. Calling car 32. We know where you are. Proceed to 3rd and Main. Disturbance. Street fight. That is all.
And this is how I turn me off.
Okay, so I'm here to introduce to you the concept that everyone is like Uncle Martin. Oh, I know. You sound really way out like you're from Mars. And that's why I like to make videos, because at least someone else wants to hear my crazy ideas. So, I need to go to my computer here in a little bit of a shift. Now, what we need to establish is that there is a range of hearing for human beings. And generally speaking, the range of hearing is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, or 20,000 hertz. So you can see there in this diagram the range of human hearing. Now, if you want a comparison between human beings and, say, animals, we go to this chart. And it will show you, for example, here's a human being and here's a dog. That a dog can pick up something at 15 hertz, where human beings can only pick it up at 20 hertz. And a dog can go up to 60,000 hertz, whereby a human being can only go up to 20 hertz. And I did a video a while back showing you a device that can be used with dogs to help control their barking. I don't know the exact name of it. It's like an anti-barking device that when the dog barks, it's picked up by this receiver, and then the receiver will send out a signal to the dog that is a higher level of hertz. You can't hear it, but the dog can, and it's irritating. So in other words, it helps to stop the dog from barking. I did a video on that with a puppy that we had, and of course someone was kind of upset that we were using that device on the dog. And I understand that some people, you know, don't want to use anything on an animal, but anyhow, we did, and it did help, and it really does. It really is effective. In other words, when the dog barks, if you don't want the dog barking, the device will send that signal to the dog at a higher level. You will not hear it, and it will help control the barking of the dog. Now there's a little bit of a problem with that, in that if you ever want the dog to bark, maybe the dog will be quiet and hesitant to bark. So I'm not sure I recommend it to you or anybody with a dog. But anyhow, as you can see, there are frequencies below human hearing and frequencies above human hearing. Higher frequencies and lower frequencies. Now, what I'm getting at is this. Hold on. Hang in there with me. Now this is my little homemade chart. Okay, I tried to show human level hearing at 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, or 20,000 hertz. And there's frequencies below and frequencies above. Now, when you look at a cell phone tower, you are seeing all kinds of devices on it, which indicates to me that yes, frequencies are being broadcast out into the public that are not necessarily cell phone. What I'm trying to say is that wherever you might be, you will be affected by frequencies below your hearing and frequencies above your hearing. Now, are these frequencies broadcasting audible voices? Not necessarily. Just like the example I gave you of the dog. The device sends out a signal that is irritating, quite literally, to the ear of the dog. Now, if that can be done with a dog, I want to ask you a question. Could it not be done to a human being that frequencies are out there above your hearing and below your hearing? Now you are receiving them because of the human skull. No, you don't have antennas like Uncle Martin, but you have a skull. And the skull can pick up vibrations. So in a sense, the skull is a speaker. The speaker is just something material that can pick up vibrations. So with the frequencies in the air is vibrating. That's the definition of a sound. It's air molecules vibrating. So there are air molecules vibrating above your hearing and below your hearing. Now what occurs is that these devices that are used can bring about either A, pleasure, or B, irritation. In other words, with the proper balance of frequencies, a population can be made sedate, or a population can be made irritated and at the state of maybe wanting to riot or argue or fight with one another and have no idea what is really happening to them. Now I could go on and on and on, and I can point you to someone by the name of Anthony Sutton. He discovered this and actually brought it out into the open. I don't think anyone believed him. But he was quite a researcher. Now I have a lot more to say on this, but perhaps I should just stop here and let this affect you. The possibility that you are being affected by frequencies above your hearing and frequencies below your hearing. So it's not really, you're not really conscious of it, because you're not really hearing a human voice talking to you like you're hearing my voice right now. But you are picking up something of vibrations in the air, either A, through your skull, if you want to use it that way, through your skull, and then down onto your ear canal and so forth, or even right through the ear canal. Okay? But you don't register. It doesn't register with you. And that's maybe a good word for it. It doesn't, and I'll use the old word that came out of the Lost in Space. It does not compute. So anything like above your hearing won't register with you, and below your hearing won't register with you. Above your hearing, you'll be completely oblivious to it, and below your hearing, you'll be oblivious to it. But nevertheless, it affects you. That's the point. And I thought about this. How should I present this? And the basic concept that came to my thinking was, even though you don't hear it and let it register in your mind, it does affect you. Let me say it again. Even though you, quote, don't hear it, it does affect you. In other words, these frequencies below your hearing and above your hearing do affect us. And they create moods. And moods can create thoughts. And thoughts can create actions. So in other words, population can be controlled by frequencies. I have a lot more to say on this, and it's a very interesting subject. So I'm going to stop it right here. I gave you enough for the moment, and maybe we'll pick it up another time, and I'll take another aspect of it and another angle to it so that you can understand what might be happening to you right where you live. And that's the thing about this. There are so many of these, quote, cell phone towers everywhere that I would say almost everyone is affected, even though they don't hear it. Again, trying to always end in a positive note. The voice that you want to hear is the voice of God. You hear His voice by having a close relationship to God and by reading, studying His holy word and listening to people who give expositions of His holy word. And that way you're so filled with all of that that any of this stuff really doesn't really affect you at all. Thank you for watching. End of video.